Monday, March the 4th, 2013, and I'm down in Oxfordshire doing the very first of the Time Out Book 1 walks. Amazing really. Book 1, walk 1, taken me 4 years to get round to doing, mainly because getting to these West London walks, or West of London walks, isn't that easy from where I am, but here finally to do the walk where it all started. A 10-mile circular, Henley-on-Thames, and we've got a cracking day for it. Doing it on a Monday again today, just as I used to do, for various reasons. Didn't walk last weekend either. So today, glorious, lovely spring day. Buds are coming out, as you can see. I'm sure the birds will be singing. Quite a late start. As I say, travelling on a Monday means rail card can't be used until after 10, and then the first train out of Paddington to here isn't until 10:27, so you lose quite a lot of time. It's around about 11:45 now, so I need to press on. Let's see what develops. Pretty soon we come out next to the River Thames with Henley Bridge ahead. Classic regatta scenery here. Okay, a warning sign here about how weak the bridge is really. Just about to cross it. Looking back up the high street, which no doubt will be coming down later on, I presume. Thames is still pretty high, but I've been waiting for it to subside a bit over the weeks since Christmas, hoping that the paths won't be flooded at any point today. Onward journeys over there, I believe. Point 7 of the text, we're now on the other bank of the Thames. There's the bridge from another angle, Henley on the other side. Now walking due north. Plenty of evidence here of what Henley's all about. Nice scenery on my right. Temple Island. That's about 2.5 kilometres away. Now, as you can see, recent flooding has subsided and the paths are quite dry today, which is just as well, because for the first time ever I've forgotten my gaiters. So, fingers crossed. The view back towards Henley as we now leave it behind. One of a number of rowing clubs next to the Thames. Clear evidence here on this narrow strip of tarmac that this was indeed flooded only a few weeks ago. Seems okay now. Of course, this early section of the walk follows the Thames Path as we kind of leave the semi-urban environment behind us and now enter private property, which thankfully has been opened up to us as Temple Island draws closer. Little example over there of how the other half live. Imagine having the Thames as your garage, your parking bay. Nice vista opening up ahead of us there. Bit hazy at the moment, but I'm sure the sun will burn that off pretty quickly. Interesting from my perspective here. Some barns for sale. Majority of the 8 have been let, which is interesting. I wonder if that's because they're not presently selling. St Nicholas's Church, Remenham, as mentioned in the text. A short diversion from the main route. Chaffinches and great tits seem to be the dominant songsters at the moment. Some gates here erected in the last Jubilee, 1977, the year of punk, and I was still at school. Fawley Temple, known as Temple Island, one of those follies built in the Victorian era. As usual in this part of the world, plenty of kites about. Dare say they've paired up and will be ready to mate and nest. Be interesting to see one of their nests actually. Some more of that glorious backdrop. Just past Temple Island, still in point 8 of the text. Come down here on a Saturday or Sunday, it'd probably be chock-a-block with people. Certainly on a Sunday. Cormorant drying his wings. Amazing how they do that. Little colony of them up there. Get an idea here of how much it costs to moor up. £8 a night. Bit cheaper than a youth hostel these days. Approaching Hambleden Lock. Information board next to the lock about the development of it and the River Thames. Former lock house, may even be currently in use. A view of what we'll be crossing shortly, as previously recorded on other walks down this way. Back from Hambleden Lock towards Henley, somewhere down in the distance. Delightful day now. Okay, here we are at the weir. Evidence here of yellow wagtail, sorry, not yellow, grey wagtail. I'll try and catch one on film again. But I think I'm close to their nest, which is why they won't sit still. Keep flitting about. Got one. Lovely colour. Look at the power of that water. As we're in March, will be high tide soon and massive power. We should be using that for our energy. None of this wind farm rubbish. This is where the real power lies. Can't beat water. Back in Henley's direction. Great example there of a swan in action. The River Thames is surprisingly so clear here. Get a good view of this swan nibbling away underwater. Well, I hope you can. Making full use of that long old neck. Just long enough to reach the riverbed. Brilliant. Incredibly powerful. Point 12 of the text as we move away from the Thames now. This is the scenery we're starting to encounter. Tail end of the Chilterns. Still plenty of water about though, reminding us that the Thames isn't too far distant. Here we are at the junction with Rotten Row, with a dunnock singing in there in the background. Just about to take this footpath through that kissing gate there. Now I might well be mistaken, as flowers are not my thing, but it seems to be a bit early for buttercups, so I'll have to check that one out. All on its own. Next to this lovely thick hedge on my left, just as they should be. Quite amazing, last time I was down this way the ground was cracking up and these little brooks were bone dry. Hambleden Church in the distance there, which is where I intend taking my lunch. Point 15 of the text. Absolutely amazing how different this river is now to last time I was here. It was just a riverbed last time I was down here. Absolutely nothing in it. Just goes to show really, as we get a vista back. Mary the Virgin, Hambleden, and that seat's just inviting me to take it. Possibly there might be one in the church, I don't know. Let's have a look. As you can see there, I've arrived just in time for lunch. And the church is open, apparently. Now, our kite just sailed past there. The church from the rear. With that kite just flying around again. The snowdrops are doing incredibly well this year, lasting out till middle of March. Amazing, just a reflection of our winter really, how wet it's been. So I'm going to jump on this seat here. Donated by Ken and Elna Clark, I think it is. Okay, 2 o'clock, lunch has been had. Just thought I would film the interior of Hambleden Church. Quite plain for the reasons given. The recommended lunchtime stop, the Stag and Huntsman. And Wheeler's Family Butcher that used to be next door, or very nearby. Not sure if the pub's actually open today. Looks like it's having some works done on the roof. No, the pub is open, it's the house next door that's being worked on. One final shot of the church. Well, there you go. Looks like I was wrong, they may well be buttercups. Number of them here. No, they're not buttercups, they're is it aconite or something? I'll have to check it. The old village water pump is still here. Just about to leave Hambleden and go up the Thames Path mentioned in the text. Advance notice here that over Easter weekend going to be some orienteering races taking place through these woods. So it'd be a good idea not to do this walk that particular weekend. Point 21 of the text as we enter the wood, and delightfully so far I've had no need for my forgotten gaiters, which is brilliant. And for the first time today, as you can hear, just encountering the noise of Heathrow, which is not so good. So there you go, 22 of the text refers to a white arrow on a tree as we ascend. Point 23, you can see the Thames ahead there in the distance. So we continue on down there, not turning right. Some very pleasant mixed woodland walking here, but we're now entering a coniferous section. Had some nice variety after walking beside the Thames for the morning section. Point 25, there's the edge of the wood. We continue on along this bridleway, turning right. Point 25 of the text, we leave the wood and continue along this tree-lined bridleway with glimpses of the Thames on the left, which I'm sure will open up in a minute, according to the map anyway. It is pleasantly warm now. First time it's been this warm for about, God knows, since the autumn. What a delightful day. No, unfortunately where the vista opens up, we're actually down in the valley, so you don't get to see the Thames. Pleasant enough view anyway though. Passing houses 6 and 7, point 27 of the text. This is the vista that you get. Very pleasant. As I say, pleasantly dry underfoot as well. What a change. At this junction mentioned in point 27, you don't go immediately left, but I believe it's across this field. Point 27 of the text, and I've taken the left after the houses, not the one that's along that field boundary. I'm assuming I'm on the right one going uphill here. I can't find the sign that says strictly no riding without permits, but I am following this public bridleway sign uphill into that wood there. So I hope this is right. Not convinced though. Just about, excuse me there, pheasant startled me. In fact, it's not a pheasant, it's a deer. Just about to enter the wood, which I believe to be Great Wood. And this is the vista back. Lovely. I think the route has been altered slightly to the text, because I'm not on bearing a 310 at the moment, that's for sure, but everything else seems to fit into place. And there you can see the Thames just in the distance. So there's the bridleway marker, and it's confusing because the text says ignore an earthen track to the right of the footpath. So maybe in time the footpath was up there via that chalky path, and that metal grey, well, it's like a water feature up there. That's a little brick thing anyway. But I think the route now is following this earthen track. Soon find out. Glorious views, eh? The weather makes it, really makes a difference. Kite making that noise in the background. Some industrial remnants here. of some kind, which is what I was trying to describe. Very pleasant beechwood walking at the moment, with an interesting bracket fungus there. Wasn't convinced I was on the right route initially, but there are some white markers on trees, so that tells me it's the way's good. Nice and peaceful in here, save the odd jet. New plantation over there. As I say, you do get the odd tree marker. Interesting thing about this section is, although it's the highest thus far, it's actually the wettest in places. But absolutely nothing to worry about compared to recent weeks. Today's been absolutely glorious underfoot. I've seen a number of deer dotted about in the wood, but never been able to get in on one. Look like roe deer to me. You know, your typical Bambi type. Hey, it looks like I am on track. There's Roundhouse Farm in the distance, as I leave behind me what was a very pleasant section of woodland walking, albeit rather quiet bird-wise. Only noise really was a deer in the shadows. I've seen this bandied around a lot on this section as well. Section 31(6) of the Highways Act 1980. There you go. In a rather gloomy coniferous pine area. (32) refers to this as being a potentially muddy section, and gloriously it's not, after all the rain we've had recently as well. Amazing. Deer fence round this maize crop that hasn't been harvested. The orchard's bench, 1948 to 76. Didn't last long, did he? And that's his house behind, I believe. Certainly called Orchard's House anyway. And there's some fine views that he enjoyed, albeit it's gone back to being a bit hazy now. The Roundhouse, not quite like the one in Camden, but there you go, next to these pink cottages. And from another angle, free range eggs for sale here, £1.50 for half a dozen. Bit cheaper than Tesco, and would be for a good cause. Check the Marmite tub there. And the authentic hen close by, or cock actually. Go on, do your thing. Oh, he's given up now. Chanticleer. Or my walnut tree pub, Fawley Clearly someone's saving that land bank in that for better times. Hasn't been converted back yet to residential. No doubt it will be. Fine views opposite the pub. Interesting memorial of the builder there. R&M MK 1907. Just on the edge of Fawley here. Green at Fawley, with what appears to be over there an old well. Haven't seen a death recently, but here's this week's. Poor cock pheasant. Won't be breeding this year. And the irony is, he's right smack opposite this weather vane. Poor thing. Rest in peace, mate. Fawley Church, which is undergoing renovation at the moment by the looks of it, to the roof. And there it is from another angle, with a date there on the guttering. Is that 39 or 59? I think it's 39. Just prior to the war. Interesting feature over there in the graveyard. It's a memorial to the Freeman family. 1707, I think it is. And almost as if to outdo the other family, there's one to the Mackenzies. Yeah, the house is actually called Haverley, not Maverley per the text. And you ignore that footpath down there, which is next to, confusingly, a hydrant 100/3. And the actual footpath marker is well hidden in the hedge on your right anyway, behind me. There. So don't get confused with that. On this bend, this is the footpath we do take. 100/2. Very well texted that. The road carries on. Point 40 of the text, just in front of these wrought iron gates. Private property footpath only. We go down here. Past that iron barn, corrugated. Good to know. Swing gate though noted by pearly pathfinders. At 42, passing the gates of the water station on your left, having come from that direction. That's to my right. Our onward journey is this way, through yet another swing gate. A mighty tree has fallen, and that noisy dog's in the way. That's it, clear off. Noisy animal. From another angle. So point 45 of the text, we leave the road, now joining the Oxfordshire way, and just had to do a bit of first aid here. That old lady there, just leaving us, slipped while she was talking to me, and she's got Parkinson's, lost her balance, so hurt her back falling over on this. All she was doing was going through the gate. Could have been a bit of an incident there, but luckily she's okay, thankfully. So all sorts of things happen on these walks. Now I realise that I have walked along this path into Henley Park, but in the reverse direction on another Henley walk. Can't remember which one, but it was, as I say, opposite way to what I'm walking now. Glorious scenery here. Kites everywhere. That new plantation over there is apparently, although we can't see it at the moment, going to be a flag of Switzerland, which you'll be able to view from the air, planted by Mr. Schwarzenbach. So that's something that needs Googling, I think. Have a look on the internet. But yeah, only a small plantation at the moment, but ultimately will be the Swiss flag visible from the air. So bear that in mind. Stood by this isolated kissing gate here, and the old lady, who's fine, I'm pleased to say, just told me that these oaks were grown to commemorate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee, just as we've recently celebrated Elizabeth's. So a bit of local knowledge. She actually lives next door to the White House, by the way. 45 of the text, views off to my left, over the Thames and beyond. Just about to go into the wood ahead of us there. About to get through that gate with a rucksack on your back as I enter the wood now. Lovely tunnel down there. Some kind of giant tree house over there. And as we approach back into Henley, incidentally, the tree house did have fires burning in it, and 3 young ladies have just gone in it. So interesting sign of the times. The older lady intimated to me the old white horse is no more, now being this new modern house. 4:45, walking down Henley High Street. The train's at 17:09 and they're not very frequent, so it would be good to be on it. So here we are, 4:45, just gone, back at Henley. That was a very pleasant walk, nice and varied, aided and abetted by a lovely chill breeze today on a very pleasant day. Lots of variety in that walk. Wasn't too muddy, which is just perfect for me, seeing as I've forgotten my gaiters. So there we have it, book 1, walk 1, the very first walk in the series completed.